What's going on, guys? My name's Logan. I'm currently a master's student studying human performance and strengthening and conditioning. Today I want to go over two studies that are pretty recent that talk about the effects of minimalist footwear in terms of foot strength. Both of the studies that I will talk about today are referenced below, so feel free to go check those out. But before I cover both these studies, I want to go over how complex our feet are and why it's important to have strong feet. Our feet are made up of 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 20 muscles, including 4 layers of muscle that make up the arch of our foot. We can break the muscles of the foot up into two groups: intrinsic foot muscles and extrinsic foot muscles. Extrinsic foot muscles are the outer layer of muscles that make up our foot. The intrinsic muscles are the muscles that are within the foot, kind of underneath all the extrinsic foot muscles. So why are strong feet important, or rather, why do we want to avoid weak feet? Weak feet are associated with foot deformities such as bunions, hammer toe, claw toe, and flat feet. Strong muscles also help support the feet. For example, our intrinsic foot muscles help support the plantar fascia and take pressure off of it. Weak muscles can actually put a strain on the plantar fascia, and that is what often causes plantar fasciitis. That's great and all, but what are minimalist footwear, and what do the studies say? Minimalist footwear are shoes that are thin and flexible, have no heel to toe drop, so the heel and the toe are at the same level. They have a wide toe box for your toes to be able to spread out and move around, and have little to no added support or stability features. So we have a minimalist shoe on the right and a regular shoe on the left. As you can see here, the minimalist shoe has a very wide toe box comparatively to the regular shoe that has a much more narrow toe box. When we further examine the minimalist shoe, we can see that it has a very even amount of foam between the toe and the heel, which means it allows your foot to sit nice and flat to the ground, and it does not lift your heel up more than it needs to. They are also thin and flexible, which allow your feet to move freely and behave like feet are meant to behave. The first study we're going to be covering today is titled "Walking Minimalist Footwear is Effective for Strengthening Foot Muscles" by Ridge et al. The authors of the study created 3 groups: a control group, a foot strengthening exercise group, and a minimalist shoe walking group. Everyone that participated in the study were experienced runners. The authors tested max strength via a custom-made device purposely made to test foot strength, and muscle size via an ultrasound. The control group received no other instructions other than what was needed for testing. The foot strengthening exercise group did a variety of exercises specifically targeted for strengthening the feet. Exercises got progressively harder throughout the week, and they were instructed to do the exercises at least 5 days per week. Minimalist footwear group received a pair of shoes and a pedometer. They were instructed to walk at least 2,500 steps a day for the first 2 weeks, 5,000 steps a day for the second 2 weeks, and then 7,500 steps per day for the last 3 weeks. They were instructed to hit their step goal in the minimalist footwear at least 5 days per week. Minimalist footwear group was instructed not to run in the minimalist footwear, only to walk. Okay, so what did they find? The foot strengthening exercise group and the minimalist footwear group both saw increases in the muscle cross-sectional area, or the size of the muscle, after the 8-week intervention, whereas the control group did not see any changes. Likewise, both groups saw significant increases in strength after the 8-week intervention, whereas the control group did not see increases in strength. Differences in muscle size and muscle strength between the minimalist footwear group and the foot strengthening group were not statistically significantly different. Before we cover what this all means, let's cover the next study by Curtis et al., and then we'll cover what they both mean together. This study is titled "Daily Activity in Minimalist Footwear Increases Foot Strength." And as alluded to by the title, they simply required the participants to wear minimalist footwear during their daily lives and not for a specific amount of steps. This study also had 3 groups: a minimalist footwear group, a control group, and an experienced group. The minimalist footwear group was required to wear the minimalist shoes for the length of the 6-month study, and they did not wear minimalist footwear prior to that. The control group did not receive any shoes, and the experienced group had already had experience with minimalist footwear and had been wearing them consistently. The minimalist footwear group was required to wear minimalist shoes for at least 70% of the time that they were wearing shoes, for at least 6 days a week. Like the Ridge et al. Study, they were instructed not to run in the shoes while in this study. Unlike the Ridge et al. Study, they were not required to track their steps. On average, the experienced group had been wearing minimalist footwear for 2.5 years prior to the study. Okay, so what did they find? They found that the experienced group had a significantly higher arch than the other 2 groups. but there is no statistically significant difference between the control group and the intervention group in terms of arch height. This suggests that longer periods of time may be required to significantly increase foot strength enough to increase arch height. They also found that the minimalist footwear group that had been wearing the shoes for 6 months saw an increase in toe flexor strength by 57.5% compared to no change in the control group. So how should we interpret both these studies? First, we can realize that wearing minimalist footwear has been shown to increase foot strength equally as well as foot strengthening exercises. This means that we can wear minimalist footwear as an easy way to increase our foot strength, and it doesn't require any extra effort other than deciding what shoes to wear. Another thing to point out is that doing foot strengthening exercises and wearing minimalist footwear may be a way to increase foot strength even more. However, we don't know this for sure because neither one of the studies included a combination group. Second, we can realize that we don't have to exercise in minimalist footwear or do any crazy activities. Ridge et al. Showed that we can simply walk around in minimalist footwear and increase our foot strength, and Curtis et al. Went a step further and showed that by simply wearing them throughout the day is more than enough to increase our foot strength. Once again, strong feet have been shown to improve balance, stability, and reduce the impact of running when a midfoot strike is used, as well as prevent against foot deformities such as bunions, flat feet, hammer toe, and claw toe. If you have any questions about either one of these studies, or want me to review more literature in this area, feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm get this video to more people.